The land was dry. The skies were silent. For years, no rain had fallen on Israel. Streams shriveled, crops failed, and hunger spread across the land like a shadow. In the midst of this drought, God sent his prophet Elijah on a surprising mission, not to a wealthy home, not to a king's palace, but to a poor widow in a foreign land. Elijah arrives in Zarephath. After the brook Cherith dried up, God spoke to Elijah, "Go to Zarephath. I have commanded a widow there to provide for you." Zarephath was deep in enemy territory, the homeland of Queen Jezebel, yet Elijah obeyed. When he reached the city gate, he saw a woman gathering sticks. Her clothes were worn. Her face carried the weight of sorrow and exhaustion. Elijah called out to her, "Please bring me a little water in a cup." As she turned to get it, he added, "And bring me a piece of bread." The woman stopped. Her voice trembled as she answered, "As the Lord your God lives, I have no bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. I am gathering sticks to prepare a final meal for myself and my son. And then we will die." Her words revealed the depth of her despair. She had reached the end. A test of faith. Elijah looked at her with compassion and spoke words that must have sounded impossible. "Do not be afraid. Make me a small cake first, and afterward make some for yourself and your son. For the Lord says, the jar of flour will not run out, and the jug of oil will not run dry, until the day the Lord sends rain on the earth." It was a moment of decision. Would she cling to the little she had left, or trust the God of a stranger? With trembling hands and a courageous heart, the widow chose faith. The miracle in the kitchen, she took the last of her flour, she poured the final drops of oil. She baked a small cake and brought it to Elijah. Then she returned to her jars and gasped. The flour had returned. The oil had risen. Not much, just enough, but enough was all she needed. Day after day, the miracle continued. Every morning she checked the jars. Every morning they held just enough for that day. God didn't give her a barn full of grain. He gave her daily bread. A new trial and a greater miracle, but the widow's faith would be tested again. One day, her young son grew sick. His breathing slowed, his body weakened, and finally, he died in her arms. Her grief poured out in anguish. "Have you come to remind me of my sin and kill my son?" Elijah took the boy to the upper room, laid him on the bed, and cried out to God with deep emotion, "O Lord my God, let this child's life return to him." God heard Elijah's prayer. Life returned to the boy's body. Elijah carried him downstairs and placed him in his mother's arms. Her tears turned to joy as she whispered, "Now I know you are a man of God, and the word of the Lord in your mouth is truth." The legacy of the widow of Zarephath, this unnamed widow, became a symbol of courage in the face of fear, faith in the midst of scarcity, obedience that unlocks miracles, God's care for the forgotten and the poor. She gave the little she had, and God gave her more than she ever imagined. Her story reminds us that God sees the overlooked, God provides in impossible situations. Faith often begins with a small, risky yes. Miracles grow in the soil of obedience.